Okay, welcome to the last portion or the last part of our IP subnetting tasks. We're going to start at 10. We're just going to keep going straight. I've cleaned up this board a bit, but let's do this. So a computer has, we've got 6 left by the way. A computer has 6 IP addresses. Sorry. A computer has the IP address of blah, blah, blah. Yeah? With a mask of this one. So it's similar to the previous one. Well, have we already done that one? No, same one. I lost it. But yes, it's a different. Yeah, this is a new one. Okay, with the same subnet mask. What is the subnet ID of the subnet this computer belongs to? Okay, as usual, let's write down what we know. Always does help to write this down. Until you get really good at this and you can do this in your head, which I cannot. Sometimes I can, but we've got a subnet mask of 255.255.255.128. Yeah, I'm sure we've already done this one. Haven't we done this one already? I'm going crazy. 9. Yeah, we have to do. Yeah, let's do it again anyway. If I've done this already, I'm sorry. But basically, this is the interesting part. That's interesting. When we see 255, 255, 255, it's boring. But this one's the interesting. That looks weird. That's like, So, I know that if I put the 1 there, that's the 128. So I know that this is going to be a /25, because that's 24. So do 8, 16, 24. And then plus 1, it's 25, /25. And I'm counting by, the magic number here is 128. So 10.20.30.0, that's one subnet 1. And 10.28.30.128 is subnet 2. Okay, so 2 subnets. And that one works out to be 34. So that's you know what it's asking us? It's asking us what's the broadcast address. Yeah, I think we've done this before, but that's okay. Let's do it again. We did it in the last one. It's been a couple of hours since I had to come back to record these videos again. But anyway, so we've got, from there to there. So that's going to be 127 is the broadcast. And that's the answer there. So that's B. Yeah, we've done this. Okay, good. All right, let's go to do 11. So 11 is a printer has been configured with the IP address of 192.168.2135. So that's the IP address. And the subnet mask is the same subnet mask as this one. What is the subnet ID of the subnet this printer has been allocated to? Very similar than what we've done before. And let me just, perfect. So what do we know? The printer is, and you know these kind of things, they say the printer, the computer, the server, these are just words to get your mind away from your task. You can filter that stuff out. It's they're building a story, trying to confuse you, trying to, when you're doing exams, focus on what do they want. Don't worry about this stuff. Like when you're doing questions like this in exam, Cisco, Microsoft exams, what do they want? What are they asking you? What's between the lines? Got to read between the lines. So 192, this is what we know. 192.168.20.135, that's the IP address. We know that the subnet mask is 255.255.128, exactly like the one that we did before, very similar. What's the subnet IP address? And remember, look at this, it's in the 135. Now this is going to be interesting. All right, so again, let's look at the interesting octet. That one's interesting. Boring. 255. But that's not 255, and that's not a 0. That's what I mean by interesting. If it's a 0, boring. If it's a 255, boring. If you have another number, that's the interesting octet. Now, let us go and find out. So we already, as we know already, we know that we're counting byte 128s. So let's do this. 192.168.20. So that's perfect so far. We're happy with that. That's normal. But because we're jumping into the interesting octet, we're borrowing one of the bits here, and we're counting by 128. The first subnet is 0, and the second subnet is, drumroll, what do you all think? Pause the video. Welcome back. 128. That's the second sub. So therefore, the subnet for this one, because it's 135, okay, is 135 is greater than 128. If it was 126, it would be that, would be it. But we're in this range. So we are in this subnet range. And there's two subnet ranges, okay? That's subnet range 1 and that's subnet range 2. So we're in the second one. And the subnet ID for this block is that. That's the subnet ID address. So it's not a 0, it's 128. And B is the answer. Perfect. How about that? I'm just going to pause it while I do a bit of gardening here, a bit of maintenance. All right, welcome back. And we're going to go straight to 12. And this one here, you know, I probably should have left that, but that's okay. So it's the same subnet mask, same IP address. What's the broadcast address? So remember, we found out what the subnet ID is. 192.168.128. That's the subnet ID. And what's the broadcast address? The broadcast address ends up being 255 in the end. That's the broadcast address. So 192.168.20. How do I, sorry, actually, yeah, correct. Why am I not happy with that? So what's, if we're counting 128 plus 1. Yeah. Oh yeah, correct, yeah. That's correct because we count that one. 8, so 128, 129. So there's 128 addresses. It's weird, I know. It's strange because we count from, we go from 0 to 128. Really there's 129 addresses there, technically. Okay, cool. So the answer to that is 225, and that should be A for alpha. And we'll cheat a little bit. Let's see what the answer is. What was the number? 12 and 12A. Perfect. Perfect. Awesome. Subnets are weird, aren't they? Subnetting is weird and strange. Believe it or not, IP version 6 is actually much easier. You don't have to worry about this crap. Pardon my French. Pardon my français. But because subnetting is right, it is horrible. It really is. And IP version 6 solves it. You don't need subnetting anymore. There's no class A or B or C addresses anymore. No borrowing network bits. By the way, you can subnet in IP version 6. There's so many IP addresses and so many networks. You don't have to. You're crazy to, actually. All right, so now we've got a /24. Interesting. Okay. So what's the subnet ID of this one? Let's look at the facts. 11, 22, 33, 44. Can you see what's going on here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyway. And /25. What does /25 mean? So remember, we've got 4 octets. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot. So there's 8 bits that are 1s, and we've got 25, don't we? Which means we've got a 1 there, and the rest are zeros. Okay, so if we look at the interesting octets, remember these are boring. This is interesting here, that one. We go and we look at that further. We put the 1 there, and the rest are zeros. So what is the subnet mask? Pause and have a think. Welcome back. So we know that's 255, because if you add them all together up there, that's 255. And and then 255, 255. And what's this one here? It's that one now, 128. Hopefully you can see the pattern that's happening here. I'm hoping you notice the pattern. So in that case, the answer is, what does it belong to? What subnet should it belong to? It should belong to B. Yeah, it should belong to B, because we've got two subnets. We've got the 0 subnet and we have the 128 subnet. Is it a trick? Yeah, no, it should be B. Let's have a look at 13, upside down, 13B, yeah. B for Bravo. We're on a roll here. And what is the broadcast address of that subnet? I didn't rub it out this time. So this is our subnet ID. 11, 22, 33, 4, so that's a 0. And the other on the second subnet is, I just noticed my handwriting is terrible. How are you guys reading this? God knows. 33. And the next subnet is 128, because we're counting by 128. So therefore, the broadcast address is the one address before the next subnet. That's another clue. That helps you. I could write them all down and list them all, but why? Why do it? So that is the answer there. D for Delta. Let's go to 14 and D for Delta. Perfect. All right, we've got a couple more, some really tricky ones. I love the tricky ones. They the tricky ones make my life interesting. The harder, the better. Now, while I'm cleaning this up, look, you don't do subnetting in the world that much, but you'll be glad you know it. You'll be very thankful that you know subnetting. When the time comes, and you know it, and you know how to write it, and you know how to, apart from exams, I'm not talking about just exams. It's like we learned calculus and trigonometry at school, and I never used it once in year 12. Like from then, I've never gone out and measured the speed of light bouncing, physics or calculus, the speed of the movement, mathematical. I've never learned that stuff in my life. I used it in my life. Subnetting, you do use it now and then, but when you do use it, it's important. All right, so we've got two more. So 15. We've got a blue color here. Look at this. Check this out. So we've got a computer with an IP address there. It's got a /19. This is going to be tricky. Which subnet ID does it belong to? All right, what's the facts? What do we know? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's funny. Sherlock Holmes, when he did his investigations, the first thing he did is he looked at the facts. What is there? What can you observe? What's in front of you? Okay, there we go. This is what we know. Perfect. So first of all, we need to find out what the network, the network mask is. Okay, so we've got 19. This is easy. We count 19 ones. Count 19 ones. So for the first subnet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Every time we get an 8, we put a dot. That's the first octet. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, sorry, 16. 16, so we've got 8 bits there, 8 there is 16. But we've got 19 here. We keep going. 16, 17, 18, 19. Then we've got 19. What do we do now? We go 0. So remember, we need 8 bits in an octet. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the last one, the last one is just a simple 0. We don't have to worry about it. All of a sudden, this is boring. This one becomes boring. These ones are boring. I don't have to worry about these. They're boring. Okay? But this one is interesting. This one is the stroke the beard. Yeah. Put glasses on. If you don't wear glasses, get some glasses. Yeah, that's a okay. Perfect. We love interesting. Remember, there's no such thing as hard, there's only interesting. So now what we do is I'm going to drag this up here. Okay? I'm going to do a 1, 2, 3, and then the rest of them are zeros. So if I add these ones together, 128, 64, 32. Let's do some maths here. 8 plus this is how I calculate. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 14. Put a 4, carry the 1. Yeah, there's no easy way to do this. There's 3, 9, 12. Yeah, and carry that, and that's 222. That is our network mask for the last octet. Sorry, for the third octet. Be very careful now. Be very, very, very careful because we're not used to this. This is new for us. So let's write this out again. 255.255.25. Hang on. No, not 255. 224. And that's 0. That's our mask. Tricky. Really tricky now. This is but fun. I like it. I enjoy this. So, all right. So what does that mean to us? So now we know the mask. We know the mask and we can see here. And this is why I like to map this out. That the last of these ones here, the last one is hitting the 32 number. And guess what the 32 number is? I want you to all write this down. Remember for the rest of your life. That is Harry's magic number. That's how you spell magic, isn't it? Yeah. Number. This is my law. I invented this law. I've invented them. I didn't, by the way. I'm trying to, make this a bit funny. But that is the magic number right there. That at the moment, right now, in this example, that's the magic number. That's the number we count by. We count by 32s now. Every subnet mask will be a multiple of 32. Let's have a look at this. So we're going to count in 32s now. All right. So we've got 12. 34. This is our networks, right? So this is our IP address. Let's write it down. Our IP is 1, 2, 3, 4. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, I was right. 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's our IP address. Our network, our first network address is 0.0. Our first one. Now, remember, that's the interesting octet. That's the one we're going to be counting by. So what's the next one? What was the magic number? 32. We are going to now count in 32s. 12. 34. The next network ID, our sub ID, is 32. And the one after that is 32 plus 32, 64. And the one after that, 696. Yep. Okay. Now, what's the question asking from us? What network ID does that belong to? They're the hosts there. 57. So it's going to be in this range. Why is it? Because 57 is between 32 and 64. That's the answer there. And we can see it right there. So we go to 15C, and there we go. Okay, lucky last. What is the broadcast address of this? So if I'm trying to move this down a bit. Yeah, get a bit more space. We don't have to worry about these guys now because they're not part of the bit family. So we'll just get rid of it. Doesn't confuse us. This is a tricky one, very tricky. Remember that we've got that IP address and that one to use. So this is a tough one, okay? Basically, I can get rid of this too. Actually, you know what I might do? Yeah, I'll get rid of that. And we will why is it? Doesn't want to move. Okay, it doesn't matter. We've got enough space here. So we can use up to 120, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 32, sorry. And we start at 1, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we get to 255. You know what? Yeah, let's move this. This is a bit tricky, guys. This is really tricky. I don't blame you for not being able to do this one. So let's get rid of that. Yep. Now, so we can go 1, 2, 3. Okay. Ready for this? Once we get to 255, what next? We can't add any more to that octet. Guess what we do? Go to 33. And then we start from 0. 33, 1. Then we go all the way to 255. And then we go 32, 0. And then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, 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 blah. And you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going until you get to this number here. Until you get to 63255. That is the very last IP address in that block. And the last one is a broadcast. So therefore, the answer to the question is D for Charlie. D for Charlie. Oh, sorry, D for Charlie. What's wrong with me? D for Delta. There we go. It's a bit out there. What do you think? Do you need some more practice? There's another one after this, another series which I might do for you, which is intermediate, which is a bit harder. See how you go. Follow the way I'm doing it. Get a pen and paper. It doesn't have to be something like this. You can just get a notebook or just muck around with it. Hopefully play around with it. Watch some more subnetting videos. Maybe the way I explained it is just not good. You just don't understand a word I'm saying. That's fine. Everyone learns differently with different instructors. Maybe people need an in-depth analysis, or maybe they need a higher level view or a deep. There are other ways to do these calculations. Some people don't even write these ones, and they just do it using decimal system. There are different ways, but this way is the best way, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this series. Please reach out to me if you need any help, if you want it explained another way, if you need more examples. If you want, send me an example, and I'll solve it, and I'll show it for you. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in another series. Thank you. Have a good one.